Just so you know, I'm restarting because we had to go live. In a world where the marks think they know better than the wrestlers and the bookers, the Fantasy Booking Institute exists to pretty much do exactly that. This is a visit from the FBI.
This is Dan the Dad, and you should listen to Raw and Order or you're grounded.
Welcome to another episode of Raw and Order of the Fantasy Booking Institute, your weekly stop for pro wrestling fantasy booking. I am your host, Detective Mark Sparks, and I'm joined, as always, by my partner in crime fighting, District Attorney Vincent K. Fabe. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'll tell you what happened. I typed what happened in the wrong spot instead of in our private chat. That's what happened.
It's okay. What happened was I went live and then realized we were only live on Facebook, not on the other channels.
Platforms. Not on the primary platform or the other
not on
secondary
Twitch
platform.
or YouTube. So I had to restart the countdown and go live on those others. It did mean I figured out a feature of StreamYard that allows you to actually edit that and change that on the fly. I didn't have to completely exit out of the...
Ooh, so if we wanted to do like a Twitch exclusive stream at the end, we could shut off the other two and just
Theoretically.
continue. Go catch us on Twitch, and then we'll just BS and like a post show.
I guess theoretically I'd just do this, and then I'd just uncheck those, and then quite possibly
Maybe. Who knows?
we might start doing that someday.
Yeah. So
Probably not
Sunday? Sunday?
Someday.
Oh,
But
okay.
JOB cannot be here today because he is stuck at work.
Erectile
thinks that's more
dysfunction's a bear.
important. Yeah. Lots of moose to corral up in Canada.
In Canada, don't ya know?
Oh, GZ.
I tell you what,
Mooses.
I nothing prepares me for talking with JLB like watching what the hell's it called?
Letterkenny?
Ooh, that show's so funny. So funny.
Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Pitter patter. Here we go.
But anywho's,
Jeez. She thought she
Before
might
we
need
get
the
into the
day's
fantasy
attention.
booking, this is the point where I always make sure to point out we're part of the Raw and Order is part of the Tatnus Co podcast network. So when the show's over, you can head down to the doobly doos. You can click that link for tatnusco.com, head on over there and see what other shows are on the network. Let them know that we sent you. And then come back here for our next show. We go live usually every Sunday night and Tuesday night at 10:30 Central. I have to say usually because last week we missed the Fantasy Booking Institute because I was sick and DA Fabe had an emergency come up and JLB wasn't about to just stand here and go,
Challenge himself.
I'm gonna book I'm gonna book an all Quebec pay-per-view. It's gonna be the Quebecers versus
And I think that's only one of the Quebecers. I think it's just PCO.
versus versus 2.0 in the main event. And
Wow.
yeah,
Okay. I have a question before we get too far into this and
Okay.
talk about this and all that stuff. As I close my camera off, what's the guy with the vest and the coat hanging over his shoulder behind you here?
over there,
Yeah, right there.
that is Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha.
Yep.
And I would say Vampiro's closer to the Crow than Crow Sting was. Because I see your Crow figurines, and I thought they were Vampiro figurines back there.
Well, remember there was that Vampiro versus Crow Sting feud towards the end of WCW.
That one was not good.
Yeah, it was a little rough.
That was actually Vampiro's worst feud in WCW, at least.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's had some worse, but anyways, well, we'll get into the fantasy booking, and you know what? I think I'm gonna go ahead. And normally, I open this up to see if you want to go first, but I think I'm gonna start first this time because I got the fantasy booking challenge I want, and this is really gonna be more just a conversation, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
Because the big news since last time we had this was that Triple H is no longer going to be fit for in-ring competition.
So you're asking me who I would retire?
No.
Damn.
My thoughts are I want to at least honor what he did in the ring, and let's talk about Triple H matches and or feuds that we did not get. And
That we didn't get or that didn't live up.
that we didn't get, but
Because we got a Sting one, and that significantly did not live up.
no, and that's where I say feuds or matches, because at the same point we got matches between like Diesel and Triple H, right? But we didn't really get a Kevin Nash versus Triple H.
Yeah, we got matches between Diesel and Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the Connecticut Blue Blood.
Yeah. And so, but we never really got a feud between them. We never really got, big matches. But there were a lot of people that we never truly got matches between. And there are people active today that were not active in the prime Triple H period that we could wish that we got matches with. So, give me an example of a few programs with Triple H that you would wish you could have seen.
Well, I wish I could have seen a good Sting program with him. But I think there's a lot you can do with Sting there. In terms of today, a feud that I would love to have seen is a retirement feud with Seth. Yes, I think there was a couple matches maybe, or a turn as Seth left the as Seth left the Authority, things of that sort. I just don't think we got a feud with Seth, and I would have loved to have seen a feud with Seth. I really would have loved a great feud with like a match he never had. I would have loved a feud with MJF. But more than I want that, I want the Miz MJF feud.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got? Is there something in particular? Maybe that'll spurn something inside of me.
Well, I mean,
Cody. Obviously, Cody's the one that we missed out on.
Yeah, I think
weeks.
that's but potentially weeks. I mean, months really, because it would have to go back to prior to the accident, the incident, the heart incident. But
and I'm not saying that we didn't get a Cody and Triple H match. That
we didn't get a Cody and Triple H feud.
Yes,
and more specifically, we didn't get a current Cody versus Triple H.
Yes,
there's been so much talk over the last 3 years of Cody trying to be Triple H. Him breaking the throne, him doing all that stuff, right? That, what a perfect payoff it would have been for him to come back to, WWE and have a feud with Triple H at that point. We know that's not going to happen now. But that would have been really cool if it could have happened. You know what I mean? Just from an in-ring work, here's the deal is, I don't think anyone out there will really argue that Triple H was the best in-ring. But he was one of the best with in-ring psychology.
Yeah.
Like telling a story through the matches, right? And he was a really good storyteller, just in general. And so a Triple H versus like Omega match
would have been fun. Yeah,
would have been tons of fun, and that's something we never got to see for lots of reasons, including Kenny Omega never going to WWE. But that could have been a lot of fun. I truly think a match, especially if it would have happened like 4 years ago, Kazuchika Okada versus Triple H could have been absolutely fire. Kazuchika Okada can pull a good match out of a paper bag, but you give him someone who's got actual skill and knowledge, and it would have been nuts. So, but there's a lot of them. It would have been fun to see him wrestle some of the young and up and comers like a Jungle Boy or a Darby Allin
or an Osprey. The struggle I have is a lot of that has to stem to what era of Triple H you're going to get. We don't know what Osprey is going to be like in 20 years, but we know that Osprey 10 years ago was good, but it was a lot more flip-de-do stuff and a lot less this just fucking badass heel shit that he does now.
Mm-hmm. And so it's hard to say that we were robbed out of good Triple H matches, because
I would say the one we were robbed out of was a good, like I said, the good series with a good series with CM Punk would have been nice.
Mm-hmm.
Of one that was in his career, and should have happened. A good series, not a politicized series. A good series with AJ Styles should have happened, could have happened, didn't happen. I don't remember a Triple H Moxley feud or Dean Ambrose feud. I'm sure there were matches, but it was more Seth versus Dean at that point.
Yeah. I mean, to be perfectly honest, we can even open it up a bit and a DX feud between DX and the Shield.
And the Shield, yeah.
Could have been tons of fun to watch.
A Triple H Bray Wyatt in any of the capacities that was Bray Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been an easy setup. In fact, well, this is my family and we don't take orders. Would have been all that would have had to happen.
Looks like the Shield and Triple H went against Bray Wyatt and The Bar back in 2017 at a house show. In fact, it looks like it was a series of house show matches that they did.
Yeah.
But then they didn't ever bring that, because sometimes house show matches end up becoming like program matches, and they didn't ever do that. I forgot about the non-sanctioned match at WrestleMania 33 between Seth Rollins and Triple H. Here's one. Chris Jericho, Finn Balor, and Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, and Triple H. Finn Balor versus Triple H.
Yeah.
Especially relatively early in Finn Balor's WWE run could have been a good moment because Triple H still would have been
relevant.
Yeah, relatively in his prime. I'm going to use the air quotes because prime is
relative.
Relative, yeah. I forgot that Triple H was the WWE World Heavyweight Champion going into WrestleMania 32.
Yeah, that's when he won the Royal Rumble. Roman took it off of him.
Yep, I forgot that.
I'm trying to think of ones that were there. Like we had the Dustin Rhodes Triple H feud. We had, Stone Cold and The Rock and Mankind and Kane and Undertaker. All of those feuds existed. Was there really a good Kurt? There was a Kurt Angle feud too. Kurt Angle, Brock, those have all happened. Cena. I think the big one of in their prime that occurred sort of, but didn't really, that should have been better and should have been more memorable would have been a CM Punk. That's the one that really, that everybody missed out on. There was an HBK feud. There was all of those feuds existed. But you're right, Kevin Nash didn't with Kevin Nash's prime.
No. I was thinking the same with Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
They faced off as Scott Hall once when it was Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and X-Pac versus Triple H and
HBK.
Was it HBK? No, I gotta remember. I just went away from that page. It just happened one time. Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, we said there was a Kurt feud with Triple H.
What? No, it's Hulk Hogan.
No, I was talking about JLB.
Yeah.
Throwing in comments.
Oh.
Hanging out on the sidelines, having things to say.
Yeah, just barking at the sidelines. But yeah, Hulk Hogan and Triple H versus Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and X-Pac. It was at a house show. But other than that, like Razor, I could make a joke about half seeing too, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that he did not consent to that joke.
He did not know. He's gonna come up here and smack me.
Boom. Triple
H did go against Razor Ramon a few times, but that was when he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and it was pre NWO Razor. So, it would have been nice to have seen that later on in his career when he was not effectively a jobber. Because that's the thing. A lot of people like. I'm not gonna use this to try to take away from Triple H's career, because he had a phenomenal career. But people like to think Triple H ran the Attitude Era. When during the Attitude Era, at least the majority of the Attitude Era, Triple H was at best the IC champ who pointed at his dick a lot. You know, it wasn't until the Ruthless Aggression era that came along that Triple H really became main event.
Yeah, I mean, he had a couple title wins, but it was during Attitude. But you're right, he was more main event after that.
Mm-hmm. And so,
Um,
back here. But so I just, I think it's tough to say with a person who wrestled 1,973 documented matches. It's tough to say that there were matches that we got robbed out of. But there definitely were feuds.
Well, I mean, we didn't get an Eddie feud.
No.
We really didn't get a Chris Benoit feud. We had an Orton Chris Benoit feud. We had a Chris Benoit match. We didn't get a feud. We did get Chris Jericho. We didn't get a Dean Malenko feud. And maybe in WCW we did. But that was really before Trips was the Trips,
Yeah. Yeah, up until 2000, okay, in 99, right at the end of the year, he won the WWF Heavyweight Championship for the first time. Prior to that, through the majority of what you would call the Attitude Era, Intercontinental Champion, European Champion, and then Intercontinental Champion again twice. It wasn't until the ending days of the Attitude Era and the beginning days of Ruthless Aggression that he really became main eventer world heavyweight champion. And then he went back and did Intercontinental Championship a couple times, and then tag champion, and then in 2002, undisputed world heavyweight champion.
We never really got a Miz feud from him.
Not really. So, but I don't know. That's the main thing I wanted to kind of talk about was just what sort of matches that we wished we could have gotten out of Triple H, or storylines. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people in AEW I wished I could have seen wrestle Triple H, especially prime Triple H in that 2002 to 2006 era. You know what I mean? When he had that run of undisputed heavyweight champion, Intercontinental Champion, heavyweight. You know what I mean? There are a lot of people in AEW I would have loved to have seen him have a run with. Prime being, like I said, probably Kenny Omega. But, like you said, Ospreay would have been tons of fun. Kazuchika Okada would have been tons of fun. In New Japan, Tetsuya Naito would have been a lot of fun. But even just in like you said, Sting, we never truly got they were building to more with Sting prior to his injury.
Fucking Seth.
Yeah, fucking Seth. I would have loved to have seen a good feud with Seth, like you said. And I think I do think that kind of held Seth back a bit. Excuse me, I got to open my new soda.
Ooh, what do you got?
It is Jones's Special Edition Cherry Icy soda.
So if you freeze it, it'll pop the cap off in your freezer and make a mess.
Yes, it will do that. According to this, I'm supposed to call a friend. It doesn't. It's hard to read it. It says call a friend in there.
It's all right. I got my phone.
So I'm gonna have to leave, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Hey, Smarks, what's up, bud?
And I didn't say I was calling you. Because I'm already on the line with you.
I did not consent to that joke.
Silly.
All right. So other feuds. I think there's more. I think we're missing something big, and I just don't know what we're missing. Is it not fucking off the Goldberg feud? Is it? I don't know.
I think it's interesting if you go to Cage Match and you click on Triple H at the feuds tab, it switches to German, which makes me wonder if Cage Match isn't actually based out of Germany.
No, that's just a what are those things called? VPN.
No, because I'm not on a VPN. Actually, at the bottom, if you look, it says the website uses cookies. Since we're based in Europe, we're forced to bother you with this information. All information about cookies and data security can be found in our Impressum German only. So I'm betting they're in Germany.
We have a fan, sometimes co-host, who says Triple H versus Edge. Do you remember a Triple H versus Edge feud? I'm confident there were some. I just don't remember one.
I don't remember a specific Triple H versus Edge. There was a D-Generation X versus Rated RKO, which isn't specifically Triple H.
Oh, there were some big ones. There was a Triple H Edge Cena. There was Triple H versus Edge at Great American Bash 2008.
Well, there are matches, but we're talking more feuds. And
there are several Triple H versus Edge. So
yeah,
you have to call that a feud.
Several matches, but even if they're spread out enough, they can be standoff match. I'm looking at Cage Match's list here, and their final feud was the Give Me What I Want. Das Finale Capitals Weichen Triple H und Bautista.
Und Bautista?
Mm-hmm. Das Ende einer Ära Undertaker versus Triple H 2012.
You know what's funny? If we bring your significant other JLB and my significant other, both on this podcast with us, we could have a total of 4 languages because he speaks a little bit of French, and you and I could scrape together a little bit of Spanish.
Die Lenzen Outlaws Undertaker versus Triple H 2011. Thron Attacke vom Keltischen Krieger.
Braun Strowman.
Sheamus.
We didn't have a Strowman. We did have a huge Sheamus feud. I do recall that.
Die Unerfüllte Mission DX versus Jerry Show.
Jerry Show.
Die Vendetta der Viper Orton versus McMahon Helmsley.
Okay, seriously, knock it the fuck off.
Well, I mean, I don't know what it's saying if I'm not reading the German because it's literally just in German. There's no English option for it.
Das Wunderwort. You don't have to keep doing it.
Der Griff nach dem Messerning. Hardy versus Triple H versus Kozlov.
Vladimir Kozlov.
Von Riesen und Glasscherben.
If you're
Triple
a WWE
performer,
if you're a WWE performer, how do you feel when they saddle you with foreign dude?
Yeah.
Any job that's foreign dude.
Yeah, you're automatic. I mean, anytime your nationality becomes part of your gimmick,
character,
you immediately know you're going to be saddled with evil foreigner. That's going to be your whole gimmick, right? And so it's like, oh, hey, we're going to call you the Swiss Superman, the Swiss Cyborg.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, yeah.
Mid-card.
Yeah, okay. Mid-card villain. Okay.
Got it.
And we're going to team you up with the
Bulgarian Brute.
The Bulgarian Brute or the Irish Assassin.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Okay, we're gonna be the Bar. And we're gonna just be bad guys, right? Jeff Hardy, Schubert on der Spitz. I really wish I knew what that was saying. But so yeah, so anyway, so Great Khali, Age of Orton versus Nature Boy versus Jeff Hardy versus Vince McMahon
versus Shane.
For in the inner UVL. What is that?
JBL. I think he had a JBL feud.
Party 1 was Triple H and Jerry Lawler. Party 2 was King Booker. King Booker. Degeneration.
He actually got Triple H to crack once doing that.
DX versus Rated RKO. I mentioned that one. Suck It Vince versus this Rucker was Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, Kenny, Johnny, Mickey, Nikki, Mitch, Jonathan Coachman, Maga.
Those things, those guys, the
Armando
cheerleaders.
Alejandro Estrada, and the Big Show. Evolution und Counter-Evolution. Orton versus Triple H. Michaels versus Triple H. I like this one, even though I know exactly what it says. Der Crippler erklimmt den Olymp. The Crippler versus the Olympian. Which was Chris Benoit versus Triple H versus
Kurt Angle.
Apparently not. It's Shawn Michaels, according to this. That's the weirdest name, Der Olymp. That's got to be Olympian, right? Nope, it wasn't. Ooh. 2003. We mentioned this. Triple H, Chris Jericho, and Ric Flair versus Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels. April through August of 2003. It featured Elimination Chamber, Triple H versus Chris Jericho, Goldberg, Kevin Nash, Randy Orton, and Shawn Michaels. Chris Jericho versus Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash versus Chris Jericho versus Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels versus Orton and Flair. Triple H defeated Kevin Nash at Hell in a Cell in 2003. At Bad Blood 2003. It was, before they had Hell in a Cell as a pay-per-view. Anyways.
All right.
But as far as I know, they never did a full-on feud of Edge versus Triple H. They were usually one-offs, as far as I can tell. So it would have been nice to have seen like a real solid
Edge program.
The only problem is Edge at his best was always heel Edge. And Triple H at his best is always heel.
Well, Triple H at his best is coming right off of an injury.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he's the most enjoyable. But I would say the feud that we definitely missed the most was the CM Punk feud. That should have happened. People would have wanted it to happen. It did not happen. And it played out behind the scenes.
Let's see. What is Triple H's highest rated match according to the Wrestling Observer?
I'm going to say 4.5 stars HBK.
Number one is the 3 Stages of Hell match from WWF No Way Out 2001, Triple H versus Steve Austin.
Fair enough.
And that's rated at 4 3/4 stars. It is, however, tied with 3 other matches. the Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho versus Steve Austin and Triple H. From Raw is War number 417 in 2001. And Chris Benoit versus Shawn Michaels versus Triple H from WrestleMania 20 in 2004. And Undertaker versus Triple H in Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania, is that 28? Had to do the math there. XXVIII.
XVI. It's like you're reading German again.
Yeah. At 4.5 stars, we had 2 Cactus Jack versus Triple H matches.
Those were good. That was a good feud.
The street fight from Royal Rumble 2000 and the Hell in a Cell match from No Way Out 2000.
Specifically the Cactus Jack ones.
Chris Jericho versus Triple H in the Last Man Standing also got 4.5 stars. That was at WWF Fully Loaded 2000. Kurt Angle versus Rikishi versus Steve Austin versus The Rock versus Undertaker versus Triple H in a Hell in a Cell match at Armageddon 2000 also got 4.5 stars. Chris Benoit versus Shawn Michaels versus Triple H got 4.5 stars. That was Backlash 2004. Batista versus Triple H from 2005 in a Hell in a Cell match at WWE Vengeance. Are you noticing a pattern here?
2004 was his year.
Well, of his top 10 highest rated matches, 5 of them are in Hell in a Cell. And one of them is in 3 Stages of Hell, which is still a cage match. And a couple of them are no holds barred or street fights or, something like that. None of them are traditional one-on-one matches.
Mano y manos.
Now, I mean, that being said, the big spectacle matches tend to be the ones that get the most publicity and love. It's most spectacle, I should say. So that's there. Number 13, 4.25 stars. Rock versus Triple H in 98. At SummerSlam 98, Highway to Hell on a ladder match. That one I do remember, I think, and it's up there. Get it? But yeah, I think that goes with what I was saying. No one ever said that Triple H was the mat technician. His whole gimmick was the cerebral assassin. That he wasn't going to out wrestle you, he was going to outthink you.
Yeah.
And I think he played into that very well because he didn't have to out wrestle people. He was smart enough and he told a good storyline in the ring. So,
well, and he was smart enough to get them in matches that would favor his constantly being in a faction.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we're going to miss him wrestling.
Yep.
We're going to love that he's still around.
Yes, we're going to be happy. I can you imagine what the pop's going to be the first time he actually appears on screen again? Whether it's as a mentor sort of character to someone coming out, in a managerial sort of role, or whether it's as an authority figure. I mean, now's a really good time, for him to become the heel authority figure. But the pop that's going to happen the first time he comes out, crowd going, yeah! and he can walk to the ring and.
Ugh.
What
Do we have any
makes sense?
cards to? Oh yeah, that's right.
Nope, we're all done opening cards. I still can't find any more.
We can open this wonderful bag of Cheetos and see which ones look like wrestlers in there.
None of them are going to look like wrestlers. They're all going to look like smiles or sometimes frowns.
Depending on how you use them. Yes.
Yes.
Hashtag still not sponsored.
Let's
We
go
would
ahead.
we would pretend that they looked like wrestlers if we had a sponsorship.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's HBK. Anyway.
But did you have a challenge for me?
Um.
If not, I've got something else we could do.
I want you to fantasy book. No, wait, no. Hold on. I want no, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. I got it. Ready?
Okay.
I want you to fantasy book Cody Rhodes as a work. So I want you to go against your grain and actually fantasy book it the way that you would enjoy it if it was a work. And everybody's been wrong this whole time. Because I've heard snippets. I've heard
Well, that's
what a cool way to put him in the title, in the AEW title.
And well, that's part of what I'm
And
trying to think
ROH
of a way that hasn't been already thrown out. The he's gonna turn out to be the one running ROH or whatever. And if they are gonna make it a work, which I am to this point, I'm now pretty certain it's
yeah, I don't think it's a work. I'm certain this is real.
If it were a work, I would want it to be in a way that we didn't see coming. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so him being the person in charge of Ring of Honor or something like that, to me seems a little bit too on the nose, too predictable, right? So I'm trying to think of what would be a way that would be not as predictable. Something that could at least give a bit of a surprise to things. This would work. Maybe this would work. Let's see if I can work this out here. I think this could work. Okay. So what you start off by doing is there's no way I can book this right now since we know that it's a Cody Rhodes, it's a work thing. There's no way I can explain this to make it a surprise in the end. So you're gonna know what it is. So I'm gonna start off at the beginning. I think you make him the puppet master behind House of Black.
Okay.
Which I think makes sense because when Aleister Black came in, his first feud was with Cody. Came in and immediately went after Cody and Arn Anderson, took him out, all this stuff. I think what you end up having it be, you have House of Black run rampant. You have House of Black kayfabe injure people, taking out some of the biggest stars in AEW. Have them go after Dark Order and kayfabe injure a bunch of the top Dark Order people. Have them kayfabe injure the top of the Elite. Matt and Nick Jackson out with injuries due to House of Black coming after him, right? And in the end, you revealed you would have Aleister Black in his speeches, in his things, start mentioning not specifically like he's taking orders from someone, but like there's someone maybe above him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And in the end, it'd be revealed that it's Cody. That Cody's plan was he knew he had made that arrangement that while he was with AEW, he couldn't go after the title. And he knew he had to set things up so that the odds were in his favor. So that was taking out the support system for Hangman Page, taking out anyone who might come to Hangman Page's aid, potentially the Young Bucks, and also have a vignette of House of Black, like Kenny Omega's about to come back. You know, he's a big fanfare of him showing up tonight, and then have House of Black just attack him backstage and take him out, and he's injured. And then eventually it's revealed that Cody Rhodes was behind House of Black, that he brought them in to be a wrecking ball and to destroy the upper card of AEW, to pave a path for him to come in and take his rightful space at the throne of AEW. And so then you have him be the one who beats Hangman through heel tactics. Because again, you have him come back in a work. He's almost got to be a heel at this point because you've worked the crowd, right?
Yeah.
So you have him be a heel. You have him come back and beat Hangman through overwhelming numbers. And then you literally have him sitting on the shattered throne from the first AEW pay-per-view.
Ooh, okay.
With the belt around it. That picture of him lit from behind, all smoky. He's sitting there with the belt over his shoulder, kind of leaning forward on this shattered throne, now as the king of AEW. I think that's a way that you could do this that wouldn't be super predictable. I mean, it still involves some of the predictable things of him using I said I couldn't be the champion as long as I was with AEW, but now I'm not with AEW, so I can go after it, sort of thing. But it doesn't tread the predictable. He's gonna run Ring of Honor. He's gonna then come, as the triumphant leader of Ring of Honor, so on and so forth thing. I think that's the best idea I have currently.
Well, that sucks. No, I'm just playing. It's actually a pretty good idea.
And because I think, and I mean, in a way, it plays with the old cliche of Eric Bischoff was powerbombed through a table in the early debuts of NWO, and then later it was revealed that he was the brains behind it the whole time. This sort of thing, no one would expect Cody to be behind House of Black coming in because they were the first people they targeted was Cody. But he run roughshod and he took me out, and that paved the way. I don't know. I think that might be the best idea I have.
I don't hate it. I'd like to see him show up still at WrestleMania or the night after WrestleMania. I'd like to see him show up and not sign the contract.
Well, that's what I thought it would have been really funny for him to show up at Royal Rumble. But then in a total shoot move in the middle of the Royal Rumble ring, rather than fighting anyone, he just kneels down, pulls out an AEW contract, signs it on WWE TV, on pay-per-view, and then eliminates himself and leaves. I thought that would have been a great way if they wanted it to be a... J-
Well, there you go. JLB has a
JLB
suggestion.
JLB liked it. I want to point out that he thought that could work, that it was good. So he thought that was a way. JLB still thinks it is a work. So he also has the suggestion of us to book Seth's opponent at Mania, with it not being Cody if we need time. I said before we went on air that there's speculation that Cody doesn't show up at Mania, that he instead shows up at the Raw after Mania, which to be fair, historically speaking, the Raw after Mania has been where a lot of the big surprises have shown up, right?
Yeah.
And we've kind of said it before. They don't need big surprises to sell a Mania. They need big surprises to sell the shows that aren't called WrestleMania. So I sort of get that. The speculation has been, it's also based on the fact that a certain Shane McMahon is expected to be in town for WrestleMania weekend. And how WWE is that for Vince McMahon to say, I told you you'd have to wait out there for my hand-picked opponent at WrestleMania. So here he is, my son, Shane McMahon.
And then we get a coast to coast on Seth, and Seth still wins with a stomp. And
I think that would 100%, unfortunately, be a babyface thing for Seth to do, though. And since he's trying to still be heel, I don't know.
I think Big Match John.
Big Match John would be a big deal if they could do it. I said this the other day. What they really should have done is have this be the John Cena moment from WrestleMania a few years ago, where Seth is just waiting in the crowd.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a match. He's just out in the crowd. With
Every time somebody comes out for a vignette, he's like, "This is my match."
Is this my match?
The fence.
The fence, and then security's like, no. They're there to talk to. And then you have a surprise someone like Cody show up and be like, I'm here to challenge. And Seth be like, oh, it's going to be me. It's going to be me. Him be like, Sheamus.
I like that. I think the other one that would work really, really well, end of the Stone Cold promo, it gets heated between KO and Stone Cold. And Stone Cold says, well, I'm not cleared to wrestle, but I can give you this. You will have a match tonight, and it's going to be right now. And then he stuns him, gets out of the ring, grabs the mic, says, and it's against your best friend, Seth Rollins. And Seth jumps the fence right there. And he comes in, and now we got KO versus Seth right then and there. Boom.
Or the same thing. It's going to be not against me because I'm not cleared. Stun him. It's going to be against your best friend, the sports entertainer, Chris Jericho. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, I mean...
And then Seth's still sitting out there going, what? And then maybe he jumps in to defend KO and it becomes Chris Jericho versus... Seth. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
That one won't happen.
That will not happen.
Mine's a lot more likely.
It would be a ton of fun and play off of the your best friend thing. That's really what it came down.
That's just a little bit of fun. Well, or your best friend.
I think he's referring to your
yeah, I can see that one. I can see that
happening.
I mean, that's just to throw a little swerve in. I think that's the possibility.
No. Swerve's on AEW.
Oh yeah, that's right. Walter.
Walter doesn't exist. It's Gunther.
Sorry.
Gunther.
No, it won't be Taker.
No. I mean, I saw your post earlier, and it would be funny, but it's not going to be Taker.
No.
They're going to give Taker at least a few years of, retired before they bring
Trot him out
place.
again to have him.
Yes.
Please, are you still able to pick somebody up for Tombstone, bud?
Yeah. Oh, they don't worry that much about it. They don't ask Goldberg if he can still jackhammer anyone. Nearly killed people 3 times. Yeah, you'll do it.
Maybe it's Goldberg. Since
Could
you
be
bring that
Goldberg.
up, he's got 3 matches a year.
Yeah, could be Goldberg. There's
He's
really
only won one.
no specific saying it's not. So let's go ahead. Let's actually talk about WrestleMania because we were already talking about it, right? We're gonna go. This isn't gonna be a full on predictions thing, because we really don't do those. But here are the cards for Saturday night and then Sunday night, right? Currently, and things can change. They still have SmackDown, WrestleMania.
Yeah, I mean, Bianca
SmackDown.
Belair is suddenly healthy again.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yep. But
What will
these,
Becky's haircut be?
that's what I'm interested to see.
I
Now
am actually
here's what
kind
I'm
of
really
interested.
interested to see. Are they going to end up making it a hair versus title challenge?
No, because Bianca's already earned the title shot. So that's,
No, but hair versus title. If Bianca wins, she gets the title. If Becky wins, she retains the title, but then also gets to cut Belair's. I could see them doing that now with this suddenly implementing this hair thing. It also, to me, if they do announce that, it makes
wow.
yes.
Too soon.
So that's JLB in Quebec, Canada. Will, if you're listening,
Also, my ex-wife used to talk shit about Jada all the fucking time.
yeah, Will, if you're listening, DA Fabe's ex-wife, that's Nebraska. You can come there.
Mrs. Fabe.
Yes.
She has yet to remarry.
But so here's the deal. If they were to announce, they say on SmackDown on if they announce on SmackDown that it's going to be a hair versus title match, it makes me 100% certain that Bianca Belair is going to win because they're not going to cut her hair, not at this point, right? By the way, JLB, I believe Chris Jericho owns the trademark for GFY, so you owe him some money.
Get fancy yellow.
Yes, exactly. So here are the matches that are currently on the card for WrestleMania Saturday. In no particular order because we don't know where it's going to be where, but
They don't know.
not until an hour before the show, probably. Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. Seth Rollins versus Question Mark. Mysterios versus Logan Paul and The Miz.
Ugh.
Ridge Holland and Sheamus versus The New Day. Usos versus Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Women's Raw title, Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. And Women's SmackDown title, Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. So, what do you predict will be match of the night?
Match of the night prediction of those matches: Seth and whomever, followed by Becky and Bianca. I don't. None of those scream great matches to me.
No,
Usos, Shinsuke, and Boogs. If that was Cesaro or someone else in the Boogs position, I'd have a lot more confidence in that match.
yeah, Boogs is entertaining as fuck, but he's still very green.
Yeah, in a match, he can deliver a finisher. That's about it.
I'm not looking forward to Charlotte versus Ronda.
Nope. The Mysterios versus Miz and Logan Paul will not be match of the night.
No.
We might see our second straight WrestleMania with a surprisingly good move done by a non-professional wrestler.
Yeah, I don't have that much faith in Logan Paul.
I mean, it's probably not going to be a sunset. Yeah, driver.
Yeah, it'll be a sunset flip, and it'll
Yeah.
be sloppy. Um, Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin is going to be a solid match.
Yes, and it could be very, very good. I just don't have confidence in WWE's ability to book that.
Yeah,
If we'd have gotten Happy Corbin as Lone Wolf, or even as Constable Corbin, and Drew on his Scottish psychopath run,
yeah.
that would have been a hell of a
frankly,
fucking match.
and I'm gonna say this: Corbin was way more fun when he was down and out Corbin. When
The
he
press
was
Corbin, I didn't enjoy the press.
I enjoyed it from this standpoint. Every show, every episode was him trying to find his way out of the hole. You know, trying to bet someone some money to that or get just a measly $10,000.
Just need 10,000. Well, then he wins 2 million, and that's the end of the world. Like,
Yeah,
everything's
suddenly,
fixed forever.
Everything's fixed.
Like it was 2 million,
But yeah,
man. It's like
I think the best match of the night might be a B- match.
it could be an A plus. Like
depending on who the opponent for Seth Rollins, yeah.
I think Bianca and Becky can put on an A match.
I think they can. I think that's likely going to be a B- or a B match.
Oh, I think they're going to invest more. I think WWE's going to invest more in the Ronda Charlotte match, and I think that's why they'll want Bianca and Becky to not outshine Ronda Charlotte.
And now we move to Sunday, and here's the deal. In fairness, if you're going to be doing a 2-night WrestleMania, night 2 should be the showcase night. I'll agree.
And will hands down have the best championship match.
And so night 2, Sunday night, the current matches on the card: Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley versus Omos, Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville, RK Bro versus Street Profits versus Alpha Academy.
That'll be a good match.
Carmella and Queen Zelina versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler versus Naomi and Sasha versus Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. AJ Styles versus
the question,
Edge.
Before you go any further, here's the question about that match, that four-way women's tag. Can Rhea, Shayna, and Sasha carry that match? Because if they can carry that match, then that's a good match.
I think Zelina is up there. I think the problem with Zelina, especially in this situation, Rhea Ripley's a very tall woman, right?
Yeah, we're not going to get a poison rod out of that.
Yeah, and Zelina's very small. Carmella's bigger, but not as good in the ring as Zelina is. To be perfectly honest, Natalya and Shayna Baszler, as boring as Natalya is, might actually be the best team.
She's a good hand.
Because Natalya is very capable in the ring, and Shayna is fucking scary. And
I'm not. This isn't discounting Liv Morgan.
No.
It's just at the end of the day, the 3 big stars will have to carry that match, and Sasha versus Shayna is really what has to carry it.
But, anyways, AJ Styles versus Edge.
That's probably match of the night.
Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns in the unification winner-take-all match.
That's the only one that will challenge for that match of the night.
I think the RK Bro versus Street Profits versus Alpha Academy could be
a great match,
surprising match. Underdog match of the night potential.
Underhype potential, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the deal. Brock and Roman can both be the overhype of the night and best match of the night. Can be both.
Mm-hmm. I think Bobby Lashley versus Omos is them booking themselves into a corner. They booked themselves into a corner with this. Because how do you have that match finish in a way that doesn't make one of them look bad? Right? Bobby Lashley was just recently your world title holder, right?
He loses to Omos. He's losing to an up-and-comer.
Yes. So you really can't have him lose, but you have
Omos is the
Omos.
indestructible force.
Yeah, he loses his indestructible force aura. The only way would be if you have AJ Styles come out and somehow or other help Bobby Lashley win. But that doesn't work for Bobby Lashley's character, and it doesn't really work for AJ Styles' character currently. So what do? You booked yourself into a corner where you're gonna have a bad outcome of that match one way or another. Under hype of the night very easily could be Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. That could be
Could
the
be.
surprising match of the night.
McAfee was surprisingly great
Mm-hmm.
against Adam Cole, baby.
Yes, and yes, that's Adam Cole, who's able to pull a good match out of almost anyone. But McAfee
Austin
looks
Theory's a
really
good hand, more than a good hand.
Mm-hmm. But
He's irritating, and I don't like his character, but he's more than a good hand.
yeah, I'm not particularly a fan of his character either. It's I don't like. I don't like him being brought up and it just being ignoring the fact that he was very recently in NXT in a very prominent storyline where
As Johnny
played,
Gargano's bitch.
yeah, where he played kind of the bumbling dumb guy in Johnny Gargano's family. And then Gargano left and that whole storyline just kind of got dropped. Like, have we even seen Dexter Lumis
Yeah, a little bit.
since?
Like he interfered in Indy Hartwell's match recently from the outside. Didn't actually do anything. Just showed up and scary as fuck. I would love to see. Now this is a surprising feud. I'd love to see current Dexter Lumis versus current
Looks like
Brock
he
Lesnar.
just lost to Tony D'Angelo a week ago.
I would love to see current Dexter Lumis character versus current Brock Lesnar's character.
And then the week or a few weeks prior, back in January, he lost to Grayson Waller.
Yeah, they're burying him. You did too good with this character. You're fucked.
In fact, he's only been seen on NXT TV twice this year in terms of matches. He might have been seen, but on January 18th, he lost to Grayson Waller. And on March 22nd, he lost to Tony D'Angelo. And since NXT 468, when he teamed with Indy Hartwell versus Jesse Kamea and Robert Stone in September, he's only had 6 matches, and he's lost 4 of them.
So stupid.
Anywho's.
So, I think there's some good, surprising matches available.
Yep. The thing is, not knowing who Seth's opponent is makes it hard to predict how that match is going to. But outside of that match, there's only 1 or 2 matches on both nights that I think could be an A match. Could
I am disappointed that we won't get a high quality cinematic match this WrestleMania.
I kind of said this before. I think the era of cinematic matches in WWE is over.
You think it was a very temporary thing? Huh?
I think it was exclusively in a crowdless environment that they did it. And once they had crowds back, Vince McMahon isn't going to waste time on a cinematic match where the crowds can't be involved. For him, it's a waste of money in his mind.
Yeah.
Because the crowd is part of the show to him. And, a cinematic match doesn't get those those aerial views of the arena with 80,000 people, 120,000 people, 300,000 people.
True. There won't be 120,000 people at WrestleMania this year.
They'll say there are.
The largest attendance ever at a WWE event. 14.3 million people here.
Mm-hmm.
The millions and millions of Rocks fans in attendance.
The WrestleMania with 18.6 billion people in attendance. Wait, Vince, we can't say that. Why can't we? Because there's not even 8 billion people on the planet.
Fuck
no
that.
one will know.
They're wrestlers. They won't know. Golly, I could actually see Vince doing something like that. So, all right. So is this where we go around in a circle?
In a cycle. Give me just 1 second here. Because I was going to do something. And yeah, so there. So the official listed capacity for AT&T Stadium is 80,000 people, but can be reconfigured to hold 100,000 seats. The record attendance was in 2009, 105,121 people.
At what?
At a football. Oh, wait, nope. At a basketball game, there was 108,713 people in 2010 at a basketball game. And WrestleMania 32 was there and had 101,763 people, according to this. So there's no way that Vince McMahon announces a figure less than 102,000 people. Doesn't matter if they're
more than theirs, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if there actually are 102,000 people.
No, that shit doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, Vince McMahon don't care about that shit, but he's not going to announce less than 102,000 people. One way or another, that's my prediction that they're gonna say. I think they're probably going to go somewhere in that 105,000 range. And my thoughts are
beat the basketball game by 2.
Beat the football game by a bit, but if you can hold it back behind the basketball game, then it doesn't have to stand up to scrutiny because it doesn't officially make the claim that it was the highest attendance
I get what
there.
you're saying. Yeah,
you know what I mean. So then the basketball game can still be the highest attendance, but because they're just not going to look into it. That's my thought process. In terms of actual attendance, 90,000.
Yeah, it could break 90 pretty easily.
90,000, maybe 95. That's what I think. So let's play a game of pick or pass. This will be a shorter episode all in all. Let's do about 10-15 minutes on this though. Pick or pass. I think we spent a fair amount of time talking about him, so I'm going to start with Triple H. And I'm going to say Triple H or we spent some time talking about him too. Cody. Triple H or Cody Rhodes? Pick or pass?
I'll take Cody. Mostly because Triple H's career is literally over.
Yeah, we'll allow his career to continue for this game.
Okay. Still Cody. So you get Triple H or CM Punk.
Punk. But only because Punk has, I think, a better balance of actual in-ring skill and storytelling.
Okay.
Triple H or his buddy HBK.
I'll take HBK. I was a fan even when he was a backstage politicking douchebag. So, Triple H or Cactus Jack. Specifically, Cactus Jack.
That's what I was gonna say. As long as it's specifically Cactus Jack, I think we get Triple H taken this time. If it was Mick Foley as a whole,
That's a tough call.
Different story potentially, but so Cactus Jack. Oh, this will be fun. This will be.
I know where you're going with this, and he gives great speeches. I'm excited for his WrestleMania speech.
Well, I wasn't gonna do Vader.
Oh, you weren't gonna do that? Okay.
I was gonna do specifically Cactus Jack, or specifically Dude Love.
Oh, I think Cactus Jack. Dude Love or Simon Dean.
Dude Love.
I only did that because Dude Love was pretty short-lived. Simon Dean could have been a good character.
See, and I was hoping you would do Dude Love versus Mankind, and we could just get all the faces of Foley done. But
Fine, Dude Love versus
nope.
Mankind.
Too late.
Okay.
Too late. You did it. So, Simon Dean or Matt Stryker.
Simon Dean. Longer lived. Matt Stryker. Or specifically Kane Pac era Kane. Kane and X-Pac is a tag team era Kane.
Kane.
Okay. Now, if you want to add, wait, you took Kane?
I took Kane. Yeah.
Wow.
But not enthusiastically, but I did.
Okay.
Matt Stryker or
Isaac Yankem.
no.
What, that Glenn Jacobs, Isaac Yankem, and then you just have Glenn Jacobs, and then you're back to Kane, and we can bring, yeah.
Matt Stryker or specifically just Mr. Kennedy.
Oh, so I don't get Ken Anderson.
You do not get Ken Anderson, no.
I still take Mr. Kennedy. Matt Stryker or specifically Stardust.
Stryker.
And now all Cody Rhodes characters are opened up with Stardust for you. Wait, but you said, you said specifically current Cody early at the beginning, so you have to eliminate current Cody.
Yes, can't be current Cody.
But you can do Dashing Cody Rhodes if you want.
All Codys except for current.
Okay.
Or let me try to elevate a bit.
So all we lose is American Nightmare. Okay.
Yeah, all you lose is American Nightmare. Um, or specifically Prince Devitt.
I'm going to take Prince Devitt. It's a tough call, but yeah. So all Codys except for American Nightmare or Mankind, specifically Mankind.
It's tough. Cody's.
I don't blame you there. That's a great mid-card play. He was a big piece to Legacy. He was an even bigger piece when he had his own faction.
Okay.
That's basically saying all WWE Codys.
Yep. What also would include New Japan Cody.
He was American Nightmare there.
He was heel Cody in New Japan.
Oh, he wasn't. He wasn't American Nightmare. That's what you. Some dude bought me a sticker. Says that is incorrect.
Said he was American Nightmare, but he wasn't current Cody because current Cody is face, and specifically face. Current Cody has a tattoo on his neck, and that New Japan Cody did not.
Neck tattoos make you a face?
They do not, but they indicate a different character.
Okay.
Right. But so specifically Mankind. Specifically Mankind, or Joey Janela.
Mankind.
Okay.
Yeah. Joey Janela. Mox. Leaving Dean Ambrose available.
God, if it was almost anyone else, I might have taken Joey, but Mox.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm just making you figure out how to get us out of the Joey Janela slump. I can't figure that one out easily.
Well, that's why I thought if I put him against specifically just Mankind, Joey Janela out hardcores Mankind. So
Mankind out promos significantly Joey Janela though. By more than Joey Janela out hardcores Mankind.
I know. I was just trying to do it. Joey Janela or tell you what, let's piss off some GCW fans. Joey Janela or Nick fucking Gage.
Joey Janela. But
get in the comments.
But I will say that if it's in GCW or a hardcore environment, Nick Gage versus soon-to-be WWE Hall of Famer Vader. It's time! It's time! It's Vader time!
Vader.
Yeah. Even in the hardcore environment, Vader.
Yeah.
Dude ripped a guy's ear off by accident.
Yep. So now we got out of the Joey Janela hole, but now we're in a Nick Gage hole.
Yeah.
God. How do we get out of the Nick Gage hole?
I have it. I have the way out. I really do. Legitimately.
Okay.
So pick whatever you want. Just don't make it so easy that I get rid of Nick Gage. Because if you do, then that's really bad.
Well, as long as we're pissing off GCW fans, Nick Gage or Mance Warner.
Who's Mance Warner?
He's the other GCW hardcore guy.
Well, I want to keep Nick Gage at play because I think it's the only way I'm going to get this to happen. So I'll take Mance Warner, effectively pissing off everybody in GCW, and I'm going to give you Nick Gage or hardcore match in AEW, specifically the match with Chris Jericho. I know who won. Who would you rather have?
Specifically for hardcore? Yeah, that's Nick Gage.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love me some Jericho currently. But hardcore isn't his parkour.
See,
Now
I was
we
going to
open up
go with Nick Gage versus Jay Briscoe. And then we could have gotten to Jay Briscoe and versus Mark Briscoe and had fun there. But
well, that's
but
okay.
now
we got you out.
We've got Chris Jericho versus
that word specifically really works out well for this game to get out of the holes we put ourselves in.
It does.
Mark that on your calendar, JLB. Specifically on Tuesdays.
Chris Jericho versus his best friend Kevin Owens.
Right now, career.
Full career.
You got to take Jericho. You have to take Jericho there. There are few wrestlers that are in the GOAT conversation that are currently wrestling. And I think maybe there's a couple in WWE, a couple in AEW, and amongst those is Jericho. KO is not in a GOAT conversation right now. Great wrestler though. But we're gonna take Chris Jericho, or we're gonna take Chris Jericho, which means I've got Kevin Owens versus his real best friend, Seth Rollins.
Seth?
Hey, Seth Rollins is the only person that I can think of in WWE that you give a Seth versus question mark and we call it possible match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Any other wrestler in WWE, including KO, that person versus question mark, you don't threaten a match of the night prediction. You just don't. Seth, you can solidly do that. And I don't like Seth. But he can give us a match of the night. Oh, Finn Balor's the other one that you could do that with.
And that's where I was about to go.
There's
Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor. Now, keep in mind, we already had Prince Devitt, so you don't get Devitt. You get exclusively
Finn Balor?
WWE Finn Balor.
But I also get the Prince then, Finn Balor.
Yes, but you do get Prince.
And I get the Prince. And Fix Vince. Fix Vince. Anyway, I'm gonna go with Finn Balor because that also meant that I had the Demon King, and it also means that I just plain fucking get Finn Balor.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
No arguments there.
Kevin Owens versus his former best friend, Sami Zayn.
Kevin Owens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a no-brainer.
Okay. We'll do one final round, and then we'll wrap things up. So, Sami Zayn or we'll keep this Sammy's. Sami Zayn or Sammy Guevara.
I thought you were going to say Callahan. I was like, nah, shit. Well, now it's deteriorated because neither of us really like Callahan. We just know that he's a good promo guy.
He's good in hardcore matches.
Yeah, he's all right in hardcore. I'm going to take Sammy because Sammy Guevara.
Sammy Guevara. Give me the views. I want the views.
So you got
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn versus AJ Styles. Currently AJ Styles. Post almost AJ Styles. The guy
all-time Sami Zayn.
But all-time Sami Zayn, not to be confused with El Generico.
Yeah, because they're separate people. I get it.
Yes, they are.
Right. I can see why people get confused because they have very similar body styles, but they're totally different people.
Totally different people. One wears a mask.
Yeah.
And now runs an orphanage in Mexico.
Exactly. When was the last time you saw Sami Zayn in a mask? You haven't. That's what.
Yep, correct. And he doesn't run an orphanage.
No, he doesn't.
He runs a communist dictatorship. Have you seen his outfit?
Yeah, exactly. He's from Cuba. Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
So yeah. That was fun.
That's fun.
Yeah, so this is going to be a fun week.
It didn't end so bad because we ended with AJ Styles being the odd man out.
Yes.
We did have to say specifically post almost AJ Styles.
Specifically. Yes.
Again, note to JLB, you want to get out of a hole, pick a specifically poor time in somebody's career. Mm-hmm. Triple H as specifically Jean-Paul Levesque.
Yeah, Triple H, but specifically terrorizing. Specifically. So, anyways, on that note, we're going to go ahead and start to wrap things up for the Fantasy Booking Institute. It's a busy week, and we all need some sleep so that we're prepared for, WrestleMania SmackDown, WrestleMania Night 1, WrestleMania Night 2, WrestleMania Backlash, Raw, not to mention AEW, and if we
ROH
want to watch Ring of Honor, Impact, yeah, there's a ton of shit this week, so whole lot of stuff to talk about and think about. So we're gonna go ahead and get off a little bit early on this, but
you're gonna get off.
Yeah, buddy, I am. Anyways, if you'd like to support us, you can support us by visiting our merch store. Link is in the doobly-doo, but it's rawandorwbu.myspreadshop.com. You can get yourself a Pissant Podcast hat or a Sasha Bear shirt or an autographed shirt like that behind me or the one that you saw earlier behind D.A. Fabe to get signed. It's too late to get it for WrestleMania weekend, probably. Should have thought ahead.
Expedited shipping to Dallas.
But if you would have thought ahead, it would have been great to take to all the meet and greets, and you probably would have had to get more than one though, because there are a lot of people, a lot of wrestlers down in Dallas right about now.
You would have to volunteer, and maybe get tickets to one of the nights.
Yes,
probably Raw afterward.
Yeah, possibly, but volunteer. Not get paid.
Yeah. And work 12, 15-hour shifts.
Yes, and get a hat and a T-shirt. And a chance to win tickets.
To Raw. Not WrestleMania.
But anyways, on that note, you can follow us on the social medias. I'm on pretty much all of them. I'm not super active on TikTok and Twitter right now, just because of my job and all of that stuff, but I try to get more active occasionally. But at Raw and Order WBU, you can follow D.A. Fabe at
D.A. Vincent K. Fabe, right there.
And if you're interested in following JLB, all of his links are in the doobly-doos. There's a link tree for him, so you can follow that there.
He's
So I'm not
frantically typing right now to put in a comment.
Do this.
Yeah.
Your JLB 420. Real Talk
Real Talk
Radio is
Radio
the
is the
brand.
brand.
Real Talk Radio 8. Anchor.fm/RTR. Yeah. But on that note, we're going to go ahead and close the book.
Did we mention the Tatnisco Podcast Network?
We did at the beginning, but you can make sure to check it out now. Go to the doobly-doos and click tatnisco.com. Check them out. Where I'm still
here on Sunday or Saturday.
Yep. Still working out the exact details for getting them on here. But that's the plan, is for him to be on for the WrestleMania recap show. So, yeah. But
probably the night one recap, because he likes Sunday afternoons a lot.
Possibly. Like I said, I we still don't know if we're doing 2 separate night recaps or just one big one. Because it's a lot to do 2 nights, but it's also a lot to all do in one night. So I don't know. Anyways, but yeah. But if you joined us for this, thanks for coming. Otherwise, if you're listening to this later or watching it later, thanks. But we'd love for you to join us for the live show. But on that note, we're going to go ahead and close the book on the Fantasy Booking Institute. Thank you all for listening. We will see you soon.
Yay!